Once upon a time, in a cozy little nest by the sparkling blue pond, lived a mama goose with a single perfect egg. The mama goose loved her egg more than anything. She kept it warm and safe, dreaming of the day her little goulin would hatch. One sunny morning, she flew off to find some tasty reeds for breakfast, leaving her egg tucked snugly in the nest. Back in the nest, the little egg began to wiggle, 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 wiggle. A tiny crack appeared. Crack! Then another crack. Soon, with a final mighty push, the shell broke open. Out popped a fuzzy goslin with big curious eyes and a bright orange beak. He stretched his fluffy wings and looked all around. "Mama," he cheered, but no one was there. The little goslin felt a funny wibble-wobble in his tummy. He was all alone. So with a brave little peep, he waddled out of the nest and began his big adventure. He waddled past tall green grasses and bright red flowers, following the winding path. Soon he heard a sound. Woof, woof, woof. Around a big oak tree came a playful little puppy with floppy brown ears and a wagging tail. The puppy saw the gosling and bounced right up to him. "Woof! Hello there, little one," he barked. The gosling looked up at the puppy. "Are you my mama?" he asked in a small, hopeful voice. The puppy giggled. "Silly little one, I'm a puppy. My mama has fur and barks, and I love to chase sticks. Can you do this?" The puppy picked up a stick in his mouth and trotted around happily. The gosling watched the puppy, then tried to pick up the stick with his beak. Honk! The stick was too heavy. He couldn't do it. "Oh dear," said the puppy. "Well, can you bark like me?" Woof! Woof! The gosling took a deep breath and opened his beak wide. He tried to say, "Woof!" but out came a loud, funny noise. "Honk! Honk! Honk!" The puppy laughed. "You don't say woof, you say honk. I think your name must be Honk." The gosling thought that sounded like a perfect name. He gave a happy honk and waddled on. Honk waddled a little farther, past a field of sweet-smelling clovers. Soon he heard another sound. Oink, oink, oink. He saw a little piglet with a curly pink tail and a happy snorting nose. The piglet was rolling around in a big squishy puddle of mud, making a joyful mess. Honk waddled right up to the piglet. "Are you my mama?" he asked. The piglet snorted with glee. "Silly little one, I'm a piglet. My mama has a snout and oinks, and she loves to roll in the mud. Can you do this?" The piglet flopped down into the mud and rolled over and over, getting gooer and happier with every roll. Honk looked at the messy mud puddle, then at his own clean feathers. He tried to roll like the piglet, but he just slipped and slid. Honk, honk, he couldn't do it. "Oh dear," said the piglet. "Well, can you oink like me?" Oink, oink. Honk took a deep breath, and with all his might, he tried to say oink, but out came a loud, funny noise. Can you guess what sound Honk made? "You guessed it right," he said. "Honk, honk, honk." The piglet chuckled and splashed some mud. "You don't say oink, you say honk. But it's a very good honk." Honk was pleased with that. He gave a mighty honk and waddled on. Honk waddled a little farther, past a big red barn. Soon he heard a new sound. Moo. He saw a little calf with big brown eyes and soft milky fur. The calf was chewing on some long green grass, looking very content. Honk waddled right up to the calf. "Are you my mama?" he asked. The calf chewed thoughtfully. "Silly little one, I am a calf. My mama has big spots and moos, and she loves to eat this yummy grass. Can you do this?" The calf lowered its head and took a big noisy bite of grass. Honk looked at the long green blades. He pecked at a little piece, but it was tough and didn't taste very good. Honk, he couldn't do it. "Oh dear," said the calf. "Well, can you moo like me?" Moo. Honk puffed out his chest, took a very deep breath, and tried to say moo, but out came a loud, funny noise. Can you guess what sound Honk made? You guessed it right the second time around. He said, "Honk, honk, honk." The calf let out a little chuckle. You don't say moo, you say honk. That's a very good honk. Honk was happy with that. He gave a mighty honk and waddled on. Honk waddled a little farther as the sun began to dip low in the sky. He was feeling a bit tired now. Soon he heard a new sound, a soft, quiet sound. Who? Who? He saw a young owl perched on the branch of an old willow tree. The owl had a big round head and huge sleepy eyes. Honk waddled as close as he could get. "Are you my mama?" he asked, his voice a little weary. The owl blinked its big eyes. "Silly little one, I am an owl. My mama has feathers and hoots, and she can fly through the dark forest without making a single sound. Can you do this?" The owl spread its wings and flew to another branch, silently gliding through the twilight air. Honk looked at the owl, then at his own small, fuzzy wings. He flapped them as hard as he could, but he just hopped a little and waddled a bit faster. Honk, honk, he couldn't fly silently. "Oh dear," said the owl. "Well, can you hoot like me?" "Hoot, hoot." Honk was very tired, but he tried his best. He closed his eyes and tried to say, "Who?" But out came a loud, funny noise. Can you guess what sound Honk made? You guessed it right the fourth time around. He said, "Honk, honk, honk." The owl smiled a little. "You don't say who, you say honk. That's a very good honk. But it's time for you to find your own nest." Just then, a voice came from behind the willow tree. Honk, honk, honk. It was a big, beautiful goose with soft feathers and a bright orange beak, just like his. Honk's heart did a happy little wiggle. He waddled closer and asked, "Are you my mama?" The big goose waddled over to him and nuzzled his head gently. "Oh, my little goslin, there you are. What a silly little goose you are, wandering off on your own." And Honk, who finally found his mama, gave the happiest, loudest, most wonderful honk he had ever honked before.